So last night I saw this headline: 6,000 Mozambique prisoners escape by overpowering the guards. And my first thought was, who on earth is running this prison? Is it a daycare center or something? Because at this point, the guards might as well hand these prisoners participation trophy awards for trying. Congrats guys, you've completed our escape training program. This headline is so shocking and vile. Even David Gennaro would have been shaken by hearing that 6,000 prisoners escaped a maximum security prison last night, or what was supposed to be a maximum security prison. This is so bad to be true. If someone on the street told me, I'd think they mistaken a Fast and Furious movie scene for the news. So I just woke up barely functioning, and this was the first thing to slap me in the face like a bad coffee. I haven't even started my day yet, and here I am already questioning the sanity of Southern Africa's justice system. Honestly, if Mozambique were a movie, it would be part of the Fast and Furious franchise. No plot, plenty of escapes, and nobody stays in jail for long. Now, I know what you're thinking. Why on earth would anyone argue that escaped prisoners are the good guys? Well, stick around. Let me put y'all on game real quick, because this is going to be one wild ride. Let's get one thing straight first. These prisoners didn't escape. Get that out of your mind. They politely excused themselves from an establishment that barely deserved to call itself a prison. I want you to imagine this. You're locked up in a Mozambique jail cell, and the guards are lazy, the food is worse than your neighbor's leftovers, and the walls, well, they might as well be made of paper mache in this situation. It's gotten that bad, and you're sitting there contemplating your life's choices, and then you realize, wait a minute, they couldn't stop us even if they tried. So you and your fellow inmates hatch your plan. What's the plan, you ask? Simple. Just leave. Because let's be honest, no one is paying enough attention to stop you. I can just imagine the leader of that pack going like, guys, this is the day. We escape early morning, because that's when the guards doze off like Patrick Star from SpongeBob SquarePants. That's when even the Nyaupe boys are still sleeping. So we're not gonna get robbed when we run for it. Now I'm sure you're asking yourself, how and why could these maximum security prisons allow something like this to happen? Let me put y'all on game real quick. You see, the Mozambican prisons are less maximum security and more maximum suggestions. It's like they're saying, hey guys, you can stay here if you want, but the exit is that way, by the way. And then there's South Africa, the babysitter who didn't sign up for this job. Because let's face it, South Africa is to Mozambique's prisoners what that one exhausted parent is to their mischievous toddler. Mozambique is like, oops, I lost my prisoners again. And South Africa's like, seriously? Fine, I'll watch them. But just this once. Sorry, I didn't close the windows, like it's so fucking loud outside. Our borders are a joke, basically. And Mozambique's prisoners found this as an opportunity, because these prisoners here are practically handed a passport the moment they escape. I'm not even joking. No guards, no patrols, no potholes. The only thing standing between them and freedom is figuring out how to survive our world-famous load-shedding schedules. Only. Now let's make this fun. Here's why these prisoners are basically all of us. 1. Life is the prison. Bills are the chains. And you know how you feel stuck in a dead-end job or drowning in debt? That's your prison right there. So these prisoners are no different from us. They just decided to skip all that corporate ladder and climb the literal wall instead. Number 2 is that the guards are like your boss. They are lazy, they are incompetent, and they are completely unbothered. These guards didn't care about stopping anyone, just like your boss couldn't care about your mental health or if you had a heart attack today. Number 3 is that the escape is your dream, right? You've been saying for years you wanted to go to Mauritius, for example. These guys, well, they just took the express route to freedom. Now let's talk about the quality of Mozambique's prisons for a second. These places are about as secure as your grandma's cookie jar. The walls, they are filmier than my New Year's resolutions. The guards, they are sleepier than a cat in the sun. The security cameras, what cameras? They probably don't even have electricity half the time anyway. You thought load shedding was only in this country? We sell coal to them, so of course they'll have it too. The prisoners dug their way out with the spoon they stole from breakfast in this case. That's how weak the walls are. Or maybe they just walked out the front gate while the guards were too busy scrolling through TikTok, watching anime girls dancing or Pokemon. This is why these prisoners are actually the heroes of the story. Because 1, they are advocating for better living conditions. By escaping, these prisoners are saying your prison is trash. and we deserve better. Honestly, who can argue with that? Number two is that they are challenging the system. Mozambique's justice system is clearly broken. Almost as broken as how broken you feel when you realize Santa didn't give you any presents this Christmas. Think of them as whistleblowers. But this time the whistleblowers are running for their lives and they're not killed instead. Number three, these prisoners are entrepreneurs of freedom. They aren't just prisoners, they are innovators. They saw a problem, being locked up, and found a solution. Escape. That's the kind of initiative we should all aspire to do. If that's not motivating, then I don't know what is. Number four is they're proving a point. The escape is a message. If you can't keep us locked up, then what the fuck are you even doing? It's like a performance review for the prison staff. And guess what? They failed. When these prisoners cross into South Africa, like some of them already probably have, it's like watching a sequel of a bad movie. First, they are greeted by our potholes. These things are so deep, you could find Atlantis if you dug just a little further. I bet half of the escapees fall into them and spend the next week trying to climb out like the Zama Zama underground wars. And then you realize that South Africa isn't really a paradise. Our police force, overworked and underpaid. Our borders are about as secure as a sandcastle during high tide. It's like they escaped one bad situation in Mozambique only to land in another, the land of South Africa. But at least we have Nando's, am I right? Now let's dig deeper into the reasons why these prisoners might have felt justified in escaping. Number one is inhumane conditions. Let's not sugarcoat it here, guys. Prisons in Mozambique are probably worse than your ex's cooking. Overcrowding, terrible hygiene, and that food could double as a weapon if they wanted to. Wouldn't you want to escape too? I mean, come on. Number two is no real security. They can't even afford proper guards, so why should the prisoners respect the rules? There's nothing to respect. It's like expecting a child to stay in class when the teacher's on lunch break. Are you serious? Number three is the desperation most of these prisoners have. They are locked up for the pettiest crimes ever. They are not hardened criminals. They are people who made a mistake and then got stuck in a system that doesn't even care about their rehabilitation, that doesn't even care about what they ate today. Number four is that corruption is everywhere. Mozambique's justice system is probably more corrupt than a monopoly game where one player is also the banker. These prisoners likely know that staying locked up means wasting years of their lives for nothing. Now imagine this. You've just escaped from prison and you're running through the streets trying to avoid all that. The authorities, the people who might recognize you, who probably aren't even looking for you in the first place, and then you find a spot, maybe in a bush or an abandoned house. You're scared, you're hungry, but you're also exhilarated. I mean, really exhilarated. Now you've done the impossible. You've outsmarted the system. Now what? Do you try to start a new life? Do you leave the country? Or do you end up back right where you started because the world isn't kind to people like you? But enough about my opinion. What do you think? Do you think these prisoners are villains or victims? Should Mozambique invest in better prisons? Or should we just accept that escapees are part of the ecosystem anyway now? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. Tell me what you think. Do not hold back. We are as unfiltered as Cyril Ramaphosa's mattress. I want to see the arguments. I want to see the counter arguments and maybe even a meme or two. But before I wrap this up, I want to remind you that my Realm of Reason is out. So you should join it as soon as possible because that is the ultimate hub for debates, discussion, success, and daily dose of chaos. So while you're at it, you might as while you're at that, you might as well hit that subscribe button because you do not want to miss my next video where I'll probably offend an entire country again. So here's to the Mozambique escapees. Sorry, I don't have my coffee, but cheers to you guys because you guys are the heroes of this ridiculous Dragon Ball Z saga. Villains? Nah, man. These are people trying to survive in a system that's rigged against them. Whatever the case may be, whatever the case you may think it is, one thing's for sure. They've given us something for you to laugh about and something to argue and think about. So we should thank them. So long.